Case file, ROT 160, disappearance of Nijoni BGAY, filed by Officer Coy Joe Badge, Navajo Nation Police, years of service, 7 assignment, night patrol, U.S. Route 160 corridor status. Active investigation against Eshuimer at approximately 22:14 hours. Dispatch reported a missing juvenile female, Nijoni Bechi, age 17. Last known location, the stretch of U.S. Route 160 between Kayenta and Tuba City. Caller reported her vehicle abandoned on the shoulder with the driver's door open. I acknowledged the call. 10-4, dispatch. En route, the night was unusually still. No wind, no insects, no distant trucks. The kind of silence that feels like it's listening. Seen OBCRO upon arrival, I noted the following. Vehicle engine still warm, driver's door open. No footprints leading away. No tire tracks indicating another vehicle. No signs of struggle. Dashboard camera malfunctioned upon approach. Radio interference resembling rhythmic breathing. The desert air felt heavy, as if the land itself was holding something back. My grandmother used to say the night can hide things older than memory. Tonight I believed her. I stepped out of the cruiser and performed a quiet protection prayer under my breath. She-E-Do C-H-G Addy D. I walk in harmony, but the harmony didn't answer. Unusual auditory event at approximately 22:31 hours. I heard what sounded like a young female voice calling for help from beyond the fence line. However, the voice carried no direction, echo pattern inconsistent with human origin, tone shifted mid-call, as if mimicking rather than speaking. I did not pursue into the brush without backup, not after what I felt watching me from the dark. Current status scene secured. Search team pending. Body cam malfunction under review. Environmental anomalies noted. Possible impersonation phenomenon. Non-human origin. Under investigation, this case is now classified as priority red due to unexplained factors. Closing statement. Officer Coy Joe walked these lands my whole life. I know the stories. I know what moves out here when the moon is thin. Whatever took Nijoni, it wasn't human, and it wasn't done. Welcome to my sinister dreams. Please like and share, or I'll hunt you in your dreams.
Case file. Route 160, disappearance of Nijoni Begay. Part 2. Field notes and anomalies, filed by Officer K. Joe Date. Ongoing classification. Priority red, cool Terrell. Unsupernatural risk factors, percent field. Note 1. The footprints that were in T at 23:02 hours. I conducted a perimeter sweep around the abandoned vehicle. The ground was soft enough to take impressions, but there were no human tracks. Instead, I found a single deep indentation in the dirt. Inconsistent with any known animal. No stride pattern, no direction of travel. No secondary prints. It was as if something heavy had dropped straight down from above, and then vanished. The indentation measured -14 inches across depth, 4 inches, edges. Sharp, not weathered soil displacement, outward. As if pushed by force rather than weight, I photographed it, but the image corrupted on review. Field note 2. The scent at 23:17 hours. A smell drifted across the highway. Not decay. Not animal. Something older. A mix of wet earth, cold stone, and something metallic. Like blood on iron, my grandmother used to say, certain beings carry the scent of places where light dose and tea reach. And I understood what she meant. Field note 3. Vocal mimicry at 23:24 hours. The voice called again. This time, Clara Kaye, help me. But Najoni didn't know my name, and the voice was coming from two directions at once. Left, right. Behind me, the desert doesn't echo like that. Not unless something wants it to. I drew my flashlight and scanned the brush. The beam caught movement, not a shape. Not a body, just the shadow of something tall, slipping behind a boulder. But there was nothing there when I approached. Field note for cultural warning signs at 23:41 hours. I found a small object placed on the hood of Najoni's car. A crow feather wrapped in red thread, tied with a knot used only in protection ceremonies. But this one was indeed meant to protect. It was meant to warn. Someone knew what was out here. Someone tried to keep it away. And someone failed. Current assessment based on environmental anomalies, vocal mimicry, and cultural indicators, I believe. Najoni was taken by a non-human entity. The entity is capable of imitating human voices. It is still in the area. It is aware of my presence. It may be attempting to lure me off the highway. Backup requested. Case remains active. I will continue until harmony is restored. Case file. Route 160 disappearance of Najoni, Begapart 3, Command IONT RN filed by Officer Kaye Joe. Time 0:12 status. Priority red. Command Arivi EWA WAW AWAW AWAWA. Looking up at the mountain, it appears it is in a set. It appears the finish line is inside. Team 5 is resigned 5. Officer Kaye Joe. Time 02 Dyer. Tai 2 Dyer 12. Status by Stero. Priority red. Command Arivi AWA.U My radio previously full of static and interference. Cut clean. No hiss, no distortion. Just a sudden, unnatural silence. Then a voice came through. Officer Cocky. This is Chief Tony Fox. I need you to come in. Now, we need to talk. His tone was low, tight, like he was choosing every word carefully. Chief Fox doesn't call officers off an active scene unless something is seriously wrong. I responded. 10-4, Chief. Securing the area. But before I could finish, the radio clicked again. Not with the chief's voice.
Okay.
Something else whispered through the channel. A voice that sounded like Najoni, and like something wearing her voice like a mask. Don't leave me, Keiki. The chief didn't acknowledge it. Either he didn't hear it, or he heard it, and didn't want to say so over the air. Chief Fox repeated, "Return to headquarters immediately. Do not pursue. Do not engage. That's an order." He emphasized, "Do not engage," in a way that told me he knew more than he was saying. I've worked under him for 7 years. I've never heard fear in his voice. Tonight, I did. As I turned back toward my cruiser, I saw movement near the fence line. Not a person, not an animal. A tall silhouette, too thin, too still, watching me with a patience that felt ancient. When my flashlight hit it, the shape didn't run. It didn't hide. It simply folded backward into the dark, like a shadow slipping under a door. I logged the sighting, but I know what I saw. And I know it wasn't done with me. Scene secured, evidence logged, returning to Navajo Nation Police HQ per chief. Its order will request private briefing, will not disclose supernatural indicators in official report unless authorized. But I can feel it. Whatever took Najoni, whatever called my name, It doesn't want me going back to headquarters. It wants me to stay out here, alone, in the dark. And it's waiting. I knocked once. The chief didn't answer.
He just said, "Doors open." Son, I stepped inside.
Chief Tony Fox sat behind his desk, shoulders heavy, eyes darker than usual. 2 glasses of whiskey were already poured, one in front of him. One placed deliberately in front of the empty chair across from him. He wasn't celebrating. He was bracing. He motioned to the seat.
Have a seat, Kai. What I'm about to tell you is off the record. I sat. The office felt colder than the hallway.
The air felt thick, like something unseen had followed me in. Chief Fox didn't touch his drink at first. He just stared at it, like the amber inside held a memory he didn't want to revisit.
Then he said, "You weren't he supposed to be the one who found that girl's car?" I didn't interrupt.
I just waited.
He continued, "We've had incidents on that stretch of 160 before."
Not many, not often, but enough.
He finally took a slow sip. "Every time it starts the same way, a young person goes missing."
No tracks, no struggle, no signs of life. I felt my jaw tighten. "And the voice?" I asked quietly.
He nodded. "Yeah, the voice.
It mimics, it calls, it lures.
And if you follow it," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to.
Chief Fox opened a drawer and pulled out a thin, battered folder. No labels, no case number. Just a single crow feather, tied with red thread resting on top. My stomach dropped.
"This," he said, tapping the feather, "is why I called you in." He slid the folder toward me.
Inside were photos of abandoned cars, missing persons reports, handwritten notes from officers, long retired, and sketches rough. Shaky of a tall, thin figure with limbs too long and a face blurred out. Chief Fox lowered his voice.
"Whatever's out there, it's older than our department. Older than the highway. Older than the stories your grandmother told you.
He leaned forward.
And it knows your name, Kai. That's why you're here." Chief Fox finally looked me in the eyes. "Listen to me, son.
You're a good officer."
One of the best. But this thing, it doesn't play by our rules. It doesn't fear our laws. And it doesn't stop."
He paused.
"If you go back out there alone, you won't come back." The room felt smaller. The shadows felt closer.
And for the first time tonight, I realized the chief wasn't trying to scare me. He was trying to save me. Case file Route 160 disappearance of Nigoni Begapat v. The origin Arival by 27 E show. Time 1:27 hours. Location Chief Tony Fox's office classification. Off the record, cultural restricted. Chief Fox let out a long breath. The kind a man only releases when he's been carrying something heavy for too many years. He set his whiskey down and leaned forward. "Kay, what you saw out there wasn't new." His voice dropped lower. "It's something our people have been dealing with since before the long walk, before the forts, before the borders." I felt the room shift. The shadows seemed to lean in. The chief continued, "We call it Dian Natani Yati Dayinu, GGH, the one who imitates the living." A name I'd only heard, whispered by elders who didn't like to speak of such things. Chief Fox opened the old folder again, revealing a page older than the other shellowed, edges torn, written in a mix of Navajo and English. He tapped the page. This thing was once a man, a leader, a protector. He swallowed hard. That he broke a sacred law. He took something that wasn't his, and the holy people stripped him of his face, his voice, and his shadow. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "Now it wanders," the chief said, stealing voices, wearing them, using them to lure the living into the dark. He looked me dead in the eyes, and it chooses its targets. It chose you. Chief Fox stood up and locked the office door. "This is bigger than the department. Bigger than me. Bigger than you." He walked to the window. staring out into the night. The Council of Elders has dealt with this thing before. They know the old protections, the old songs, the old ways. He turned back to me. But they won't act unless someone who's seen it stands before them. I understood what he was saying. He needed me, not as an officer, not as a witness, but as someone the creature had marked. Chief Fox lowered his voice to a whisper. And there's one more thing. He opened a second drawer one. He kept locked hand, pulled out a small leather pouch decorated with turquoise beads and wolf hair. He placed it gently on the desk. The council will not face this alone. He tapped the pouch. They will summon him. I felt my breath catch. Wolf, the endless Hadawai, the ancient medicine man, the one who walks between worlds. Chief Fox nodded. If this creature is truly awake again, Grey Wolf is the only one who can stand against it. He leaned in close. But listen to me, Ki. Once Grey Wolf is summoned, there is no turning back. Not for him. Not for you. The room felt colder. The shadows felt alive. This thing knows your name. It knows your scent. It knows your fear. He pushed the pouch toward me, and now it knows you're coming. Case File 6. Officer Ka Joe, Navajo Nation Police. I was summoned to the council chambers at dawn. Inside, the air was heavy, the kind of silence that listens. 6 elders sat in a semicircle, one chair remaining empty, reserved for someone not yet present. Chief Tony Fox stood beside me, his presence steady, his silence louder than words. Councilwoman at Saba spoke first. Her voice was calm, but carried the weight of generations. Officer Kaijo, we have read the chief's report. Now we must hear your truth. So I told them everything. The abandoned car on the lonely stretch of highway. The mimic voice that called my name from the darkness. The shadow that seemed to fold into itself before vanishing into the desert night. I told them about the crow feather I found, wrapped tightly in red thread. The way the entire desert just felt wrong. When I finished, a new kind of silence fell upon the chamber. It was Elder Yazi who finally spoke, his voice a dry whisper. This is no ordinary CH's Addy. This is the one who lost his face. Councilwoman Atsaba nodded slowly. Then the old protections must be restored, and the one who walks between worlds must be summoned. Chief Fox stepped forward. Grey Wolf must be called. A murmur of agreement rippled through the elders. They handed me a small leather pouch. They said Grey Wolf would answer only to the one marked by the creature, marked by name, by scent, by fear. Councilwoman Atsaba raised her hand, silencing the room once more. Prepare yourself, Officer Koijo. Once the ritual begins, the creature will know. As she spoke, the lights flickered. A sudden chill swept through the room, raising the hairs on my arms. The elders looked at each other, their faces grim, and together they said, "It has already begun."
Case File 7. Officer Koi Joe, Navajo Nation Police. After reporting the creature that mimics voices, I was summoned to the Council of Elders. What happened next was not part of any police training. The chamber was colder than it should have been. 6 elders sat in silence, their eyes following me as I entered. Chief Tony Fox walked beside me. He didn't say a word, but his presence kept my hands from shaking. One chair remained empty, reserved for someone not yet present, someone the elders feared and respected. Councilwoman Atsaba raised her hand. Officer Koi Joe, we have read the chief's report. Now we must hear your truth. So I told them everything. The abandoned car, the mimic voice calling my name, the shadow that folded into the dark, the crow feather wrapped in red thread, the desert that felt wrong like something sacred had been disturbed. When I finished, the room fell silent. Elder Yazzie finally spoke. "This is no ordinary C-H-S-A-D. This is the one who lost his face." The words hit the room like a stone dropped into still water. Even the shadows seemed to react. Councilwoman Atsaba nodded slowly. "Then the old protections must be restored, and the one who walks between worlds must be summoned. Gray Wolf, the endless Hathaway, the medicine man who walks between the living and the spirit world." Elder Yazzie placed a ceremonial pouch on the table before me. Inside was turquoise dust, a braid of wolf hair, and a stone carved with symbols older than memory. Gray Wolf will answer only to the one marked by the creature. Marked by name. By scent, by fear, the creature had chosen me. The elders stood, their movements slow, deliberate. They formed a circle around the empty chair reserved for Gray Wolf. Then the chanting began. Old Navajo words, ancient syllables carried by my ancestors long before the long walk, long before the borders, long before the creature lost its face. The air thickened. Smoke drifted upward like it was being pulled by invisible hands. The lantern flames bent sideways, as if pushed by a wind that wasn't there. Then a cold wind swept across my face, not from the door, not from the vents, from nowhere, from everywhere. The chanting grew louder, stronger. The words vibrated in my bones. My breath turned to mist. The temperature dropped so fast my skin prickled, and then I felt it. Something ancient stepped into the chamber, not seen, not heard, but felt, like the weight of 1,000 winters pressing against my chest. Officer Coy Joe. Once the ritual begins, the creature will know. The lights flickered. The room grew darker. The shadows moved like they were alive. And then the elders spoke together, their voices layered, echoing like they came from the walls themselves. It has already begun. The chair reserved for Gray Wolf shifted. The fur pelt lifted slightly, like touched by a hand I couldn't see. Gray Wolf was coming, and the creature that marked me felt it. Somewhere out on Route 160, something stirred. Something tall, thin, watching, listening. The ritual had reached it, and it answered. The creature knew my name, and now it knew I wasn't alone. The elders' voices faded. The smoke settled. The cold wind stopped. But the presence remained. Gray Wolf had arrived, and the real battle was only beginning.
The sun had barely risen when the sound of an engine coughing itself awake rolled across the Navajo police station parking lot. An old green pickup, dented, sun-bleached, and held together by stubbornness, rattled into a parking space, like it had traveled 1,000 miles without stopping. The door creaked open. A boot stepped out. Then another. He stood tall, shoulders broad, hair streaked with silver, eyes sharp enough to cut through the morning haze. Gray Wolf, the endless Hathaway, the one the elders summoned. He closed the truck door gently, almost respectfully, like the vehicle was alive. And then he walked toward the station. Not fast, not slow, just inevitable. The automatic doors slid open, and every officer inside felt it, a shift in the air, a pressure behind the eyes. A presence that didn't belong in a building made of drywall and fluorescent lights. Gray Wolf nodded once. At the front desk, "Officer?" The officer forgot how to speak. Gray Wolf didn't wait for permission. He didn't need it. He walked straight to the break room, like he'd been there before. He opened the cabinet, found the old tin of grounds, scooped them with perfect precision. Every movement was slow, deliberate, ritualistic. He poured the water. Steam rose. He inhaled deeply, eyes closing for a moment. Then he sat at the small metal table, back straight, hands steady, eyes fixed on the doorway. He wasn't waiting for the coffee to cool. He was waiting for me. When I walked into the station, the air felt wrong, heavy, charged, like the building itself was holding its breath. I turned the corner and froze. Grey Wolf sat alone, steam curling from his cup, watching me with eyes that weren't old, they were ancient. He lifted his chin once, a gesture that meant, sit. I did. My hand shook. He noticed. He always noticed. Grey Wolf placed a small carved stone on the table between us. The same symbol carved into the pouch the elders gave me. His voice was calm, too calm. The creature is moving, he said. It has left the desert. It is searching for you. My stomach dropped. But do not fear, he continued. We begin tonight. He stood, finished his coffee in one slow sip, and walked past me. But before he reached the door, he stopped. His head tilted slightly, like he heard something I couldn't. Then he whispered, "It's already here." The lights flickered. A cold wind swept through the station. Papers lifted off desks. Coffee cups rattled. The temperature dropped so fast my breath turned to mist. Grey Wolf didn't turn around. He just said, "Do not look behind you." I froze, because something was standing there. Something tall, thin, wrong. And it whispered my name.